Well, hello everybody. It is me, RJ, and thought I'd go over just a couple things because why not? So first off, got a new setup, got a new PC, and I'm starting to do more stuffs. I still have the same headphones, but yeah, and the same uh, camera, but I'm gonna start doing a little bit more, I guess, production value type things when it comes to this. Anyway, without further ado, the title of the video. Overwatch 2. Um, just because I know a lot of people have been talking about like what the game has been and what it is currently, I want to come out and tell you that everything that I say, I'm not a dev or anything like that. Just from a perspective of a customer and someone who really enjoys the game and Blizzard themselves, I have come to just know certain cues that end up having, I guess, massive drawbacks and success in the business of Blizzard and Overwatch. Been playing Blizzard games for about what, I guess as long as I can remember really, because I played Warcraft 3, Warcraft 2, more Warcraft 2 than Warcraft 3, and then StarCraft and so on. I actually got the box from or the CD to play those games from a friend, and then that's how I started getting playing. Anyway, back on topic. So the whole Overwatch 2 situation is a little bit out of hand. You got devs now, I guess, coming forward, saying that there's something wrong or something peculiar with like the way their tracking was. My full-hearted belief with everything actually stems back to 2019 when they announced Overwatch 2. Now, many who know me, I've spoken through the roof about this, but most of the time when it came to streams and stuff like that, I just didn't talk about it that much. I myself never thought or believed that Overwatch 2 would be a success. Never thought it was going to be a success. Did one of two things. One, while developing it, they should have just kept it under wraps and kept developing it and not even announced it if they were going to do an Overwatch 2. And two, Overwatch itself had no reason to have a sequel because it is a action um, shooter, so action FPS shooter, team-based strategy type game. Now it's a team-based shooter game. Plant that in your minds because I'm going to be using that word a lot more during this whole video. So, Overwatch originally came out as a 6v6 shooter team-based game. So you were in a team and you were trying to capture objectives and also push a payload or 2CP. Which, to be honest, I kind of remember or miss 2CP. That's gonna be a topic for a little bit later, not too far in the future. I'm gonna try to make this video pretty prompt. But so they had this formula, it was working perfectly. Everything was going good, nothing going bad. And then all of a sudden, about 2017, 2018, we started realizing that Overwatch was not going in the way we thought it would. For example, when they said, "Hey, we're going to start doing this roadmap where we release 3 heroes a year." Well, that didn't happen. Yeah, I already saw that coming. So then they started releasing heroes, however. Then they were starting to go, "Hey, those animated shorts? We're going to start doing more of those. We're going to release 4 a year." That didn't happen. Nobody kept going. I started playing the game alpha, beta. Started really going ham and trying to just devour and I guess absorb all the content, get all the characters in my mind and everything like that. I had friends, we played it religiously every night if we could. If we couldn't play it every night, we'd at least meet up twice, 3 times a week and play this game that we call Overwatch. We played it so religiously that the fact that I still have remember having so much fun playing this game back when, well, I guess 2016, 2017, just having a lot of fun, even up into 2018. And then it was, I think, through 2018, 2019, we started moving away a little bit because we were realizing the game was a little stale. It was the same thing over and over. A lot of our friends left, so then we ended up not really playing as much. I stayed on the bandwagon until the faithful day Overwatch 2 was announced. So here comes that whole prospect of Overwatch 2. When initially I was hearing things through the woodworks about them creating something for Overwatch, I was like, okay, cool, they're gonna create a story mode, why not? Put it in its own separate thing. I was seeing certain little like I think it was Call of Duty at the time, maybe. I think it was Call of Duty and a couple other games. They were doing something similar where there was a different platform for the story, and then you can have the this version, which ultimately I thought was just going to be free to play anyway. So for them to switch over, make Overwatch 2 just a free to play game, that I already saw coming. There's a lot of things that I saw coming through that. But the fact that they did this, where they were essentially going to market a story-based game as a sequel, didn't forget it. When they started doing that, was a downfall for me. Once they announced that, I stopped playing the game. I just stopped playing. I would pick it up here and there because I really enjoyed it still, but I stopped playing ultimately because they announced Overwatch 2. So originally I would have said, hey, let's not do that. Let's just do the story mode and, have this, but that didn't happen. I think it was later in that year. I was seeing more stuff about it. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, I guess, but I'm still holding out. So every time I was naysaying Overwatch 2 as well because I even told everybody because it was a 6 months to a year before they announced it that if this becomes Overwatch 2, the game's going to die. And the reasons being is because I saw the microtransactions. I saw promises that weren't going to be lived up to. I saw story maps that weren't going to, story maps, road maps that weren't going to actually come to fruition. I saw all this coming down, and I'm like, okay. In my head, I knew that if they just kept Overwatch as it was, because that's their original plan, by what I mind you too, their original plan, once they announced Overwatch 2, they were just going to have Overwatch and Overwatch 2 as two separate games. That again was a red flag when I saw that. Um, it initially said that you'd keep everything from Overwatch 1, but just have different maps. They started like kind of hinting that like with some of the player base might actually get split apart because of this. Essentially, they fixed this, so don't even mind it, don't fret, nothing. But essentially, what Overwatch 2 created was a different game entirely that people didn't know was gonna be a different game. The game they were explaining was something completely different, and no one understood what they were even saying. Like, for example, there was the 5v5, which people thought, oh, well, that's different. Initially, that was actually going to be in the original Overwatch, but they decided to market into Overwatch 2. There was two or three different characters that were actually even going to be in Overwatch 2. One being Echo. We actually ended up getting her early. The other three were actually marketed into Overwatch 2, but I think if I recall, you had to buy them or it came with the game. Don't remember. Either way, the fact that they made it so when Overwatch 2 was announced, you were more susceptible, that's what I'm getting at, to believe that the game was going to actually go up from there. And that's a marketing scheme in a sense. You say, hey, let's slap a 2 on it. It's not really going to be a sequel, it's more going to be like a story mode and this and that. And then they decide, hey, you know what, we're going to market it, go with it anyway. So you go, what was it? During this development cycle with the game too, this is how I knew it was going to start getting even more weird. During the development of Overwatch 2, Jeff Kaplan, the lead game director for the game that we were playing from 2016 to 2020, um, decided to leave due to personal issues and everything like that. There was a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we didn't see, of course. I'm guessing there was a lot of big, like, the higher ups were pushing more onto people, and I think I just read in an interview or something like that that that's what people are saying, that these devs are working under a lot of pressure, and that's not very kosher, to be honest, to have your developers kind of stressed out while they're making your game. Um, Without pointing any fingers, saying any names. I'm not going to say that this had anything to do with anyone, but obviously it had to do with a higher up, probably the president, but who knows? I'm not pointing any fingers. There was a lot of things that happened, and also back to a bigger subject. Once Jeff Kaplan got well, left the company, a couple other people left. I don't remember their names because it's been too long for me, but they started declining in such things. So a lot of the lead developers that first started with a lot of this stuff left, and they were also in this process of making this game. Another reason why I knew it was gonna fail because of this. Overwatch 2 then went on to kind of be shelved a little bit. They didn't say anything about it for 3 years, just saying it's still coming, you know it. And when they announced that Overwatch 2 was coming out in 2022. That was the worst. But let's go back a little bit further. Well, just take I think it's a year to 6 month gap right there. 2021. I remember because I'm a part of a Discord crew and I do some things, and this has nothing to do with Overwatch, by the way, but it's a lot of like Blizzard games I play. I'm in a Discord call, and all of a sudden I hear a notification brought up, and I go and read it, and it said that Activision Blizzard is being investigated because of freaking horrendous crimes when it comes to sexual deviancy in their offices. Pretty much, they had a frat boy mentality where they were essentially sexually harassing and well, sexually assaulting people too, I guess. I don't exactly know how the extent of that. Back on topic, how did that affect the game? There was a lot of reasons why that affected the game. There was a lot more exposure for Activision Blizzard in general, and their crews. So in Limelight, once that happened, a lot of people stepped down and moved away from the company. A lot of people were fired, and again, another plot point for the game going in a bad direction. Now, I mind you, Overwatch at this point wasn't being touched at all, like the actual live service Overwatch. Everything was fine. It had a team aspect to it. It had and a lot of people at this point could say the game was failing too. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I knew it was failing too from the moment that 2018 rolled around and I realized I was playing the same maps, same games, not doing anything different. I mainly used it at that point to be just a social platform for myself to just talk to people and like have fun. That's what I used it for at that point, but it was still something great. They had a group system, they had this, they had that, they had characters interactions that they kept adding new ones and kept adding new voice lines and kept adding new things, and everything was free to play. You just had to buy the initial buy-in for the game, and there you go. You have the game, you have everything you need, and you just go. It's plug and play. Now, this is where initially once when Overwatch Blizzard's whole crew was caught doing the stupid and a lot of people came out saying this is what was going on. Um, a lot of stuff for them got kind of foggy. There was a good like 6 to 9 months where we didn't hear nothing about Overwatch 2. And initially I was thinking they were hard at work, but I don't think they were that kind of working aspect as they were probably just hard at work. Couldn't keep it down, and so yes, I stepped away from the game entirely by 2021 because I didn't think I wanted to play it. I came back for some of my favorite things like Junkerstein's Revenge and all that. That's my favorite. I came back for that, doing all that, and then that was it. I stopped really playing. Now, if I recall, I don't remember when. Again, I'm really bad with dates. It was around 2022 I heard that there was going to be a beta. It was summer 2022. I was like, fuck, sure, why not? I'll go and sign up for beta. I'll play beta. Um, and they initially were like, hey, you can buy into the beta, or you could just opt in for a later beta. I bought into it. Not gonna be shameless. I was like, why not? I want to try it, and nothing's going on for me, so why not? At this point, I was doing other things, kind of just chilling out and relaxing and having a good time. Now, come to what 2022 summer. I got a Discord message. I'm not gonna answer it. I mind you, I'm good. But by summer, I was already getting the on the Fritz about it. I was like going, okay, well, this is okay. Tried the beta, didn't mind it. I liked a lot of the stuff about the beta, but then I noticed there's not much on this loading screen. They actually changed the loading screen from what you see it in game now from what it was. I got looks at the alpha too, and the gameplay was smooth. I actually enjoyed how it felt a little bit more crisp. One thing I noticed though, I don't really know how to put this. A lot of people say that they got rid of it due to like the spam and everything like that, or like the carries, quote unquote. But they got rid of the group finder, and in a big limelight for me, that is the only reason that kept me on the game. Um, and I could go above and beyond to say that that would maybe bring me back to the game, but when you, uh, I don't know what that was. Thanks. Turned off my headset. But when you go and you do all this, the prospect of like everything that happens in that, you get rid of that. Get rid of some other things that you like, and it just starts becoming a little bit more monotonous, a little bit more convoluted, a little bit more just it feels more claustrophobic because you're by yourself, and it sucks. Now the first day, launch day, I remember this. I get on there, all my friends were like, "Yeah, let's come back and let's do this." We get on there, we play the game, and then we notice the biggest thing. So the battle pass we knew it was coming. I had the first 3 months free, but we noticed that the game wasn't as much as fun. There was no level progression. There was nothing like that. There was nothing to work for. I think at the time too, we were mainly a competitive group. We couldn't play competitive right away, so that was a big one too. Characters were not working. They took characters out of the game because they had to rework. All that. Things were going wrong. So what did everybody do? We played it for a little bit, then we stopped. I couldn't go back to it up until like more recent when Lifebinder came out and a couple other things happened that made me want to go back to the game. But since then, after I've completed the battle pass, I have not actually been in the game since. They started doing other things. Recently, certain things happened. This is the funny part. Up until recently, it was going hunky dory, quote unquote. They were getting their money, their $20 skins, I mind you. That's another thing. That for some reason, the cash shop is horrendous. I get it's a free to play live service game now. Notice I didn't say FPS team based game because it's not. Let that sink in. A lot of the player base play that game as a single player game now, and there's no communication, which kind of sucks for its competitive side because if you have a group to play with and you're playing with another group and you're facing each other, damn, that's a fun game. But when you're by yourself and some guy's shouting at you going, this isn't a team-based game, man. It's just a first-person shooter. And I'm like, wow. So it's a live service game now. Yes, it's great. It's a free live service game. It's a FPS, and it is a hoot. Now, come to a few days ago, or maybe a day ago, 2 days ago, they announced that they're canceling what made the game Overwatch 2. Now, you're probably wondering, hey, why wasn't this announced back when it first was getting launched? Because they were not holding out. They were going, hey, they were pretending like they never said it was going to have a story mode and it was going to be called Overwatch 2. They said, hey, we're just going to do this. We're going to make the game Overwatch 2, but we're taking away some of your favorite maps. I'm getting back to that, see? The 2CP. We're getting rid of certain game modes, all that, and we're going to put in push, and I don't remember the other game modes right now. The push, payload, I think there's no, I think it's just push and payload right now. Yeah. So they got rid of like what made the game originally something that I enjoyed and threw that away. The 5v5, I didn't mind it because I'm like, why not? You know, they pushed away from that to make it more of a brawly composition where you're actually trying to capture and obtain certain aspects, and the game actually runs pretty freaking smooth. Problem is, they promised so much and then didn't deliver on anything. So yes, they are doing more things, but with a $20 price on a skin where you can get silly shit that doesn't matter, and a lot of people say it's silly and doesn't matter, it goes a long way. I am avidly disappointed by the game. I actually really still enjoy all the characters. I enjoy the gameplay, but myself and I can't do it anymore. I can't play the game anymore. I want to, but it's not happening. Uh, Too much has gone on. Let me actually make sure I don't get logged out. Situation I'm playing a game. But I hope whatever is going on with their whole situation gets cleaned up. I know there's a lot of love in the game. I still actually, believe it or not, love the game, but I'm so bummed over the fact that I can't play the game without feeling like a part of it is gone. There's no group system. The lackluster just roadmap is horrendous. You pay for a battle pass, but you don't really get anything. There's a whole content, like if you're a new person, there's a whole freaking collection of characters and things that you have to potentially pay for or play to unlock. There is no general way to get currency besides either buying it. And if you were an old Overwatch player like me, your currency did carry over, but you can only purchase certain skins. And those skins are horrendously overpriced now. Instead of $1,000 for a skin, it's two, or $1,000, 1,000 credits for a skin, it's 2,000 credits. Stuff like that. And you can only purchase certain things. You can't purchase all of them. The cash shop is strictly cash shop currency, so you have to buy stuff. I was very fortunate, and I bought a new PC, and they gifted me Overwatch currency, but I have yet to use it because I'm sitting on it. Don't worry. I'm not gonna lie. I do like certain things like the crossovers. Wouldn't buy any of the skins, to be honest. I refuse to buy skins because $20 for a skin or $30 or even $50 for a skin is outrageous when the skin is just a skin. It doesn't have any new voice lines with it. Now, these legendary skins that they have for the Battle Pass, now that is actually something that's not too bad. You're paying $10 to play a game up until you get the Battle Pass legendary skin, and those actually will have different voice lines. Now, I don't know why you're just paying $10 to play for every day for about 60 days or so, quote unquote, whatever your time frame is. By the way, if you're a casual player, this game isn't for you. It literally means that you have to put at least 2 or 3 hours a day into the game. Um, but fair not. When they announced that the Overwatch 2 story mode was gone, they gave you a a triple XP boost to make up for it. You'll get triple XP for a battle pass that's kind of ending soon. And don't worry, it's fine. You're just having triple XP now. There's a lot of situations where I'm just not happy with their game, and I know that I'm not watching this back, I'm just posting it, and it's a 30-minute rant on me talking about Overwatch. And I'm gonna say, I was right. Overwatch 2 is killing the game. Competitively, it's probably actually doing pretty freaking awesome because you can get a team together, and once you get the team together and work on it, it can be a very challenging and rewarding game. But in its current state for casual players and people who don't want to spend money but want cool skins, tough luck, kid. Go back to 2016 where you just play like 10 days and you can get probably all the skins that you want with just some hard work and effort. But that's okay. Um, it is what it is. Um, I hope that if this video reaches anyone, they stay to the end. Just know that the company's trying, but as long as the higher ups are in charge,